Coach, practice just wrapped up. How did the guys look today on offense?
I think they look good. Guys are really intent on getting better, and that's kind of been a challenge for us to just keep finding ways to step our game up and master our technique and things like that. And I think they're really taking to it. And a good energy out here, and we're excited.
It's just human nature to have more enthusiasm and more energy after wins. Do you notice a difference the last 2 weeks after the way the team has played?
Honestly, with my specific group, I would say no. I mean, those guys, they're going to work no matter what. And yeah, obviously it probably helps waking up a little bit, and getting your day started. But we have the type of group, the type of team that no matter what the circumstances are, they only know one way, and that's to work hard and to get better, whether we won or lost. And so, that I hate to give you the coachy answer to it, but that's truly how our guys are here, and I'm really appreciative of that.
Well, I've got to imagine that's what you want. I mean, we talk about not getting too high, not getting too low, that approaching every practice, every game the same way. I imagine that the reason everybody says that is because it serves a team well to have that kind of attitude.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a short memory. I mean, you can never feel like you've arrived too much after a win, and one loss doesn't make a mark on your full season if you don't let it, and so that's kind of what our guys understand. We have a 24-hour rule: celebrate it or feel sorry for yourself for 24 hours, and then after that it's back to work and figuring out what we need to do for the next opponent.
How would you evaluate the running backs now through 3 games? We'll get to week 4 against Washington in a second, but through 3, how would you evaluate the guys?
I think just for the base things that I ask of them on a daily basis, I think they've achieved. Playing with great effort, playing with enthusiasm, and being physical, and really just playing disciplined football. On our tracks in the run game, picking up. Protection when our guy comes, and just protecting the football. And so those are really the 3 base things that I ask of whoever steps on that field. I think anybody can accomplish those things. It's just being assignment sound and discipline in our game, and they've done that. And obviously we've made some plays, we've had some mistakes within there, but you can live with either one when you know that guys are out there intent and they're giving great effort.
Everybody was excited when Tyson officially signed with BYU. They knew his potential. Now to see him through 3 games, people are even more excited because of the production, the toughness that he has brought. What have you seen specifically from him in games?
I just think he's taken his game to another level. Obviously, he's here. We sought after him because of the talent that he has, but I think he's elevated his game even more because he's taken to the culture here. The culture of hard work, of learning, and love from his teammates, and he's followed suit, and I think that's made him a better player, a better person, and that's why you see he's kind of just letting it loose out in the game. And we call it train ugly in practice. We give him the toughest looks, we make it hard on him, we make him tired and all that. And so when he gets in the game, a lot of times it's a lot easier than kind of the things that we try to stage for him, and as well as the rest of the guys in practice. And so I'm very happy and pleased with his production, as well as our other guys. Everybody, in my opinion, that stepped out on the field, they've had their moments where they've done really big things. May not always show up on the stat sheet. Guys are making huge blocks in protection, and guys are getting out on their routes and being accountable to our route concepts and things like that. And so the stats show themselves, but I'm really more pleased with the off the ball things that him and the rest of those guys are really showing up to and putting on film each week.
Well, and Tyson has had the bulk of the carries, certainly the bulk of the yards, and you mentioned stats, not worrying about just the stats. How are the other guys, Lopini and Soup, how are those guys handling maybe not getting as much, at least early, as they probably would like?
They're just waiting for their opportunity, and every time they stepped on the field and had a responsibility, they've achieved it. And so that's who they are. They understand that we're always going to go with the guy that is hot, and they've had their moments. Soup's had some really good runs and some good plays. Peeney's, against Tennessee, caught a screen pass and on a big 3rd down, and has picked up some key blitzes on protections, had some good runs and things like that. And so they understand it's a long season. Everybody's going to be called on at some point to make a big play. Soup was just in last game on a 3rd and 3, and he picked up 4 yards and kept the chains moving. And so nobody feels like they're above whatever role they have at this given moment, and roles change every game, every series. And so those guys are just locked in, and they got their legs popping and ready, helmet snapped up, ready to go whenever I call their name, and I can appreciate that as a coach.
The offense has really started to find its rhythm, and it started to show that more in terms of touchdowns at the end of the Tennessee game, and then obviously last week against USC. From a running back perspective, how has what the running backs have done helped that offense get into the rhythm that we've seen the last week and a half?
I think just when we get our opportunities, we're making the most of them for the most part. We haven't been perfect on our reads or our runs, but my challenge has always been to those guys this season is let's set the tone when we get the ball in our hands. If it's a 2-yard run, let's let it be the most passionate 2-yard run you can ever have, you know. And if they block it for us to get 20, then let's get the 20, you know, and let's make a play and let's just run with passion. And I think they've done that, and I think that's allowed us, for one, to be balanced, you know, that we can run and throw the ball as an offense, but also I think the O-linemen and the receivers that are blocking hard for us, they can really appreciate when they see a guy finishing a run tough and you know, fighting for extra yards and just trying to galvanize the troops, so to speak, with just the passion they play with.
What's this running back room like when it's just the team, it's just teammates, it's you're just in the room, you're talking about game plan? Is it a lighthearted room, and is it everybody cracking jokes? Give us a little insight on what the running back room is like that people maybe don't get to see.
It's really a great group. It's probably the best all around I've ever had, is just as far as the atmosphere in there and just the personalities and the respect and the love that we have for one another. I think we're very locked in, you know, when it's time to be serious, you know, in certain situations. But we're also close enough to where we can let loose. We have a really mature group, you know, as well, and so we crack jokes and give each other a hard time from time to time when the opportunity's right. But we're just all trying to get better, and we're having fun getting better. I think that's the biggest thing, is that you see these guys getting better every day, and it's not just because we're all just robots and just quiet and just doing our job. We're having fun, you know, and I try to create an atmosphere. We listen to music in our meeting rooms, let different guys pick playlists. You know, it's very interactive meeting. It's not just me, you know, sitting up there holding the clicker, and so some guys, they get bad answers and we laugh, or I might crack a joke, you know, from time to time, and may pull up a YouTube clip to make fun of somebody or something like that. And so we always lock in and do those things, but we have fun doing it, and this is the most fun I've had as a coach, I think, with this group that we have.
Speaking of fun, before I ask you about Washington, it was announced this week that the game against the Huskies is going to be a whiteout at LaVell Edwards Stadium. Some really cool throwback jerseys, new helmet, new field design. I love the end zone design. I think that's really cool. What do you think of the uniforms that the team will be wearing on Saturday?
I'm jealous that I don't get one. You know, I mean, I want to strap up the helmet, put the jersey on, you know, catch a touchdown in the end zone and all that. So it's really cool. I'm excited. I know how it is. I'm not too far removed from being a player, and I'm really big into the swag and looking good. I feel like you look good, you play good, and you feel good. And so I'm excited for our guys. I know they appreciate it, and we're just blessed to be here, you know, where we have opportunity to, you know, be able to experience different things like that, and just a great football culture here at BYU that is willing to do things like that, and to step outside the box and outside the norm and have a little fun and get the you know, the fan base involved and all that. So it's a unique experience, and we're all blessed to be a part of it.
All right, be honest here. You mentioned you're not that far removed. You look like you could still play. So I'm going to give you 10 carries in a game. How many yards do you think you could get with 10 carries if you played Saturday?
With our O-line, I'd probably say about 48 yards, probably.
48 yards on 10 carries?
Probably average about 4 yards, somewhere around there, 4 yards a carry. Yeah, I mean, they're going to block it for you to get 4 yards. So I'll get the bare minimum just because I coach and I know it kind of what the defense is going to give us and all that, but it's not because of my talent. I promise you that.
You scoring out of that, by the way, in those 10 carries with the 48 yards? Are you getting in the end zone?
If I let one of the running backs get the ball all the way down to the 1 yard line and I just play that one play, I could probably get in. But I'd be gassed after about 2 or 3 plays. I don't think I can do it.
Well, you look like you could still play. All right, let's focus in on Washington. What do you remember from last year's game? Everybody that we've talked to, it really left a sour taste in their mouths the way things played out in Seattle. What do you remember from that game?
We just shot ourselves in the foot. The first drive, we had the ball moving. We did some really good things. We executed actually pretty well, but we had penalties. We had putting the ball on the ground and things like that early in the game. And they're a good football program, and if you want to beat a good team, you can't shoot yourself in the foot. And so we had a fumble right before halftime that really put us in a tough spot. And so it was one of those deals where, as a young team, you kind of learn the hard way. Sometimes you got to take a couple steps back to take a lot forward. And I think we learned some lessons that night about ourselves, and we went on and had a successful season after that. But obviously, we want to right some of those wrongs, and hopefully we learn. We learn from making that mistake last year. If you start off slow, it's going to be hard to beat a really good team. And so I think our guys are up for the challenge, and that's kind of been the recipe for success this season. When we don't put the ball on the ground and we take care of it, we have low penalties, we have success. And so that's the recipe for success in this game as well.
How was their defense similar or different from what you saw last year?
Very, very similar. I mean, they run the same stuff. They're flying around. They're really good athletes. They're physical, and so we definitely have a challenge on our hands. And I think we're better this year than we were in a lot of spots. We're more mature, more than anything, but we're bigger and stronger and faster. And so I think it'll be a really good game, and it's going to be two teams that are going to slug it out for 12 rounds. And I think it's going to come down to execution, and whoever executes the best, pretty much like any other game. But I know our guys are excited, and I know they'll be excited as well. This is a really good, two great historic football programs, and so I'm excited to be a part of it, and look forward to seeing their best foot forward as well.
AJ, great stuff as always. Appreciate the time, and good luck in the whiteout against the Huskies. Thanks.
Let's go. Thank you.